Drive was started in 2009 by our founder and CEO, Ms. Loraine. We're actually celebrating our 10th year in August this year. And we work on the premise that early detection will prolong a life. If we find cancers that are early, and through education we actually try and get people to recognize the symptoms early, we will actually find that people will have a better chance of actually having a longer life, and they may have a more successful outcome of the cancer or malignancy that they had. And especially with Pink Drive, we focus mainly on gender-related cancers. Ladies, we do cervical and breast cancers, and for the men, we do prostate and testicular cancer education, and we train on self-examination, etc. But at Pink Drive, you can continue. We actually can just go on to the next one. Don't start it just yet. This is a short video clip that actually shows you what we do. We have a yearly outreach down to the Northern Cape, which in fact I'm leaving for tomorrow. And we see a number of little places in the middle of nowhere where we take our services to people who don't have access to medical services. Majority of the patients are medically uninsured, and unfortunately, in those areas of the country and in places where they don't have access to medical care, we're finding that cancers are actually diagnosed very late, and where patients have a very slim chance of surviving. Our vision, our mission, and our values, and this is what we all eat, breathe, and drink at Pink Drive. We are trying to provide a service to those in need and to advocate for change in the cancer space. Only if we only have one truck at a time. And there we go. Our mission is early detection of cancer helps prolong a life, and we work with integrity. We're accountable for everything that we do. We are disciplined. We're passionate about giving our time, and we work as a team. And the one thing we have to be is open-minded. And as I said, that's what our main activities are and our priorities. But if you look at the little picture on the left there, those are some of our vehicles. We have got 3 mammography units, which are fully equipped to actually go and provide services in areas. We have a mammography clinic on the one side, where we actually have a mammography machine and an ultrasound machine. On the other side, we do pap smears and so on. So we're focusing mainly on women's health, and we have a brother organization called More Balls Than Most. It goes to show that we're actually talking about the main stuff. All right, as you can see, these are some of the people that we've actually touched lives of in the last 10 years. As you can see, we've actually found 14 men with breast cancer as well. Everybody's saying, hey? The incidence of breast cancer in this day and age in men is found in 1% of all breast cancer patients. Just remember, as little babies and boys and girls have exactly the same amount of breast tissue when we're born. It's only when we go through puberty that things start changing. However, the male breast tissue never disappears. That's why I'm going to, just after my quick presentation on who we are and what we do, I'm actually going to show you how to do a self-breast examination. And as you can see with the women, we've done a number of pap smears. We have also found problems with nearly 3,000 women that we've actually referred on into the system to get them treated for breast cancer. The youngest one that we've detected in South Africa since I've been with Pink Drive was 18 years of age. And it's not one of the diseases that only chooses some people. We can all develop it. Our schools program is quite a robust schools program. I focus on mainly with the babies or the junior schools. I do something with puppets, and those are my 2 puppets there, Bibi and Lizzie. And they actually come with me whenever I go to the junior schools to educate. And our premise with Pink Drive schools program is that an investment in your child's future is to empower them with the knowledge that early detection of cancer may prolong your life. Okay. In the nursery and primary school children, and I start with them when they're about 3 or 4 years of age, and we basically talk about things that are important, like being sun smart, healthy eating and smart eating choices. We speak about being active, because in this day and age we have too many children that are sitting behind computers or playing games on phones, or else just lying on the couch playing, right? And then when we look at, obviously, the dangers of smoking using the hubbly bubblies. When we get to the high schools, and this is something that I'm very passionate about, and in fact, to me, it's very important that we actually start teaching our young adults, because that is what they are when they get to high schools, is that we talk about breast and cervical cancer to the girls, and it is a proper medical talk that I do with them. In the boys, we speak a bit about testicular cancer, and obviously there are male teachers at schools as well. We do speak to them a bit about prostate cancer as well. However, we try to keep empowering learners with the key messages around the different cancers, and we also have a very new but robust program or education that we do with young girls on menstruation. A lot of the girls in schools nowadays, and in fact some of the junior school pupils, are going through puberty at the age of 9. And I actually try and educate them about what it is, what happens to their bodies, and also the responsibility of starting menstruation and the dangers of being pregnant when you are that young. All right, so it is something that we try and cover all the way through. And this is what our little Day of Difference program flyer looks like. And Lizzie and Bibi are very much there. And they literally they're about that big. So when I work with them, they sit on my arm, and we talk a lot to the kids, and it's amazing how the little ones can actually relate and react to having puppets speaking to them. And then what we do with our schools programs, if the schools are able to, we ask them for a donation of about 5,000 Rand per school. However, that will also mean that they can nominate an underprivileged school that we can go and do the program at as well. However, I know a lot of schools can't afford that amount of money. If you're able to give us any donations, I'm happy to come and do the education for you as well. All right, and I'm very approachable. You can get hold of me most days at the office. And yes, please, if you're wanting us to come to your schools to help educate your children, please just get hold of me, okay? And that is basically what the heading of our menstruation talk is. And literally I start the talk on puberty, how girls' bodies change, and what starts happening in the little girls' bodies, and then we start talking about the hard things about menstruation. It's something that a lot of people don't like to speak about. However, in schools, and in a lot of schools, we've got young girls that don't quite know what's happening in their bodies. So I'm trying just to make sure that they know what it's about. And where we're off to tomorrow is the Northern Cape, and these are some of the children I had the privilege of educating last year. Some of the junior schools, grade 1s and 2s, were actually speaking to me about using hubbly bubblies themselves. Smoking cigarettes, drug problems are huge in our remote areas in the country. And obviously, the high school learners, I do a combination of both depending on the area and the age of the learners. But this time around, I'm going with the big stuff. I'm going to be speaking about cancer. So it is something that is very close to my heart and Pink Drive's heart as well. We try and make sure that we actually try and reach as many people as we can. Because somebody with knowledge that is educated in their bodies and how to get to know their bodies is somebody that can actually detect something that's going on in their bodies at a very early stage. So I'm going to do a quick self-breast examination chat with you all today. And if I may ask the audience, what do we use our breasts for, ladies and gentlemen? No, breastfeeding, okay. As a woman, it's part of your femininity, isn't it? It's part of our sexuality. And you can just carry on there, and you can just see there all the pictures. And yes, breasts are important for a woman. However, they're also important for the men in our lives. All right, yeah. All right, and then who can tell me what causes breast cancer, ladies and gentlemen? Anybody? Nobody? In fact, there are no causes. You can go on to the next slide, please. There are only risk factors. Just click on it again. And the risk factors are many and varied. Top of the pops is smoking, drinking, obviously, alcohol, not water, previous cancer that you may have had, or there's a family history of breast cancer, family planning and prevention, ladies, hormones that you're putting into your bodies. Just make sure that you keep control of what's happening in your body and get to know your own bodies. Okay. If you have an early onset of menstruation or late menopause, and for the ladies in the audience, not having a baby before you get to 30 years of age. Yo, everybody's looking at me like big ass, yo. And yes, it is purely because of the exposure to hormones. All right, not breastfeeding babies, bottles aren't best. We have boobs for a reason. All right, and then if you're following a very poor diet high in fats and sugars, and you're not having a good balanced diet, is also one of the risk factors for cancer development. And in the audience, who's not stressed? Nobody's answering me. I take it we all suffer from stress, don't we? Being alive in South Africa in this day and age is extremely stressful. Sitting in the traffic trying to get to our venue this afternoon may have been stressful as well. Stress is also one of the big risk factors when you're looking at developing a cancer. Yes, everyone should. And if you can go on to the next one, please. Internationally, the youngest child that was ever diagnosed with breast cancer was diagnosed at the age of 2, which is why it is so important we start speaking to our young children and even yourselves as parents. And I'd like to speak to folk just to let them know nobody's immune. This little girl's mom found a lump in her breast at the age of 2, obviously bathing her and cleaning her and moisturizing her body. She went to the doctor with the child. The doctor said it's nothing, it's going to go away. 6 months later, it was on a 2-year-old's body, and they ended up having to do a mastectomy on her at the age of 2. Ladies and gentlemen, the education that we do at Pink Drive can change lives as well. You can go on to the next one, thank you. And just a bit of exercise for everyone sitting in the audience. I can keep you moving. Not much, though. Just please bend up your elbow like this and feel the bone on your elbow. Feel this bone here. Who can tell me what it feels like? Anybody? You can't move it around, can you? And it's not a round ball. Cool. Just do me a favor, take one of your fingers and do this on your eyeball. What does that feel like? It's soft, is it not? You can actually move it around. And it's a nice round ball. That is the difference between the lump that you find in your breast that is cancerous and lumps that are not. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, anything that you find in your breast that wasn't there the previous month, just make sure you go and get it checked out. 9 out of 10 lumps in your breast are actually benign. There's always one. Okay, you can go on to the next one, please. And this is just what to look for when you're doing your self-breast examination. Gents, this includes you as well. Okay, all the gentlemen in the audience, we're looking for the size or the shape of the breast that is changed, and obviously a lump in the breast. A nipple that changes in appearance. The importance of getting to know your own bodies and your own normal are vital. It's vital. Okay, if you have a rash around or on one of the nipples, and one of the nipples has a discharge coming out of it. Gents, if there's anything coming out of your breasts, get it checked. The only time we're supposed to be getting anything out of our breasts is when we're breastfeeding. Okay, the nipple skin or breast may have started to peel, scale or flake. An area of thickened tissue in the breast, pitting or redness of this breast skin, it looks almost like an orange, and pain in the armpits or breasts. These are all the things that you must look out for when you're doing your own breast examination. When I do education at the schools, the high schools as well, I educate them how to do it. Young girls going through puberty and who've already started developing breast tissue should actually start doing it at that time. The importance of getting to know your own bodies and your own normal is vital. All right, you can go on to the next slide, please. And these are not very pretty pictures. However, if a breast cancer is left, that's what it looks like. The picture of the lady on the right has got everything that we've just spoken about. A change in the size of the shape of the breast. Her nipple is distorted. There is a rash and redness around it. Orange, if you look close enough, your skin actually looks like an orange peel. Ladies and gents, please, I don't want anybody to ever look like this. Get to know what your own normal is, and that is why I'm so passionate about teaching children at schools just to know what to look out for. All right, next one, please. An easy ways of remembering how to do your own breast examinations. It's going to take me 2 minutes. We're looking at the word breast. Can everybody remember what, we all know what a breast is, right? Men, even yourselves. All right, so we're looking for a bump or a lump, a rash or redness, excretion from the nipples, any abnormality, change in the size of one of the breasts, and the skin becomes very tense, or there might be dimpling or puckering in the skin. These are the things that you look out for when you start doing your own self-breast examination. Gentlemen, yourselves. Okay, go on to the next one, please. And it's pretty easy how to do it. Can I ask somebody just to come and somebody to assist me up front here, please? All right, everyone, I would like you to, thank you so much for helping me. Okay, I'm not going to do nothing embarrassing, okay. Cool. Just imagine where you're sitting is your mirror, and she's got no clothing on the top. That's how you're going to actually check your bodies. You need to see what's going on. All right, you're going to stand in front of the mirror with your arms by the sides, just making sure to see what's going on in your body. You're then going to take your arms and put them above your head, both arms, to check what's going on the sides and underneath. And for the gentlemen, it's important to do this. You may have hairy armpits. However, if there's any lumps or bumps developing under the armpit, you'll actually see them as well. Okay, then you're going to put them down. The next part of the examination may either be done standing up like this or lying on your bed at home. Next one, please. 3 fingers on your hand, vitally important. They could save your life. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take the one arm and put it on top of your head, the back, there we go. And with the other arm, you're actually going to use these 3 fingers. No, those 3. There we go. Put that one down. There we are, those 3. And the motion is small circular motions. Okay, you're going to start under the armpit in the figure of 6. So you start at the armpit and you're doing your small circular motions until you get to the center of your nipple. Okay, good. Do you want to show them how? I've forgotten how. Okay, on top of the head, and you're going to do small circular motions from underneath your armpit. Collarbone is where your breast tissue ends, under the breast, and then into the center of the nipple. Figure of 6. Yeah, you can do it that way too. Okay. All right, yeah. And then with those same 3 fingers, fingers, not figures, you're going to go from the top of the collarbone, underneath the collarbone, to under your breast, in motions like this, but still make the small circular motions, and then the same from the side to side. Like that. Okay. Thank you. Put your top on, you can go and relax again, my love. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This is something, it's quick, it's easy, but it needs to be done to ensure that you all stay healthy. And at the schools, when I'm doing the school education to the older learners, I actually educate them how to do it. I do speak to the boys as well, because unfortunately you're not immune to breast cancer. All right, you can go on to the next one. The next question is when? And it's generally 7 days after you stopped menstruating, ladies. And for the gents, if you know when your payday is, use that as a good guide every month. Most people get paid around the 25th, don't they? Use the 25th as a guide for the boys. All right, yeah, so you can continue. Thanks, my love. There are a number of screening methods that I'll speak to the schools about. Mainly, first things first is doing the self-breast examination. It is one way that we can actually ensure that we get to know our normal bodies, and we can actually make sure that we know when things are changing. For ladies 40 years and older, I don't know how many in the audience, we advocate that you have a mammogram from the age of 40 every year. If you are younger than 40 in our environments, and especially with the schoolgirls we picked up last year, we actually then go on to an ultrasound for them. The reason being is that because younger women's breast tissue is far too dense, and you can't actually see what's going on inside their breasts. If you're having a mammogram, that's what it looks like on the top. And if you have the misfortune of being diagnosed with breast cancer or a lump, they will then either do a biopsy on it, or they'll do a fine needle aspiration, where they'll take a needle and push it into the lump and draw out cells to see what's going on. But those are only done, the bottom 2 biopsy and needle aspiration, if there's a lump that they found. You can go on to the next one, thanks. A mammogram is actually taken from 2 projections, top to bottom and side to side, and it's actually an X-ray of the breast. The importance of it, you can go on to the next one, thank you. The goal of mammography is actually to see what's going on inside the breast. And what we do there is they compress the breast between two Perspex plates. Any ladies in the audience who've had a mammogram? It's not pretty, is it? But if it gets to be that sore, you should kick the mammography in the shin and tell it to lighten up a tad, because there's no need to kill you and make your life unpleasant. But yes, basically the reason that they compress it so I can see what's going on in the breast and also to reduce your level of exposure to radiation. Okay, go on to the next one, thank you. There are other screening options that we use and can be used. An MRI, which is a type of body scan they do. This will only be done, however, if you are diagnosed with any kind of malignancy. And the thermography, it basically works on the temperature of the different cells in your breast. You can actually, each cell has a different rate of multiplying and going through mitosis and everything else. So that is how the thermogram works. And what I do stress with anyone, including the older school children, if you have the misfortune of being diagnosed with a cancer, please remember it is your right. If you're not comfortable with who's treating you, to move on to somebody else. You are entitled to a second opinion.